Race fans, good evening and welcome to the Granite State. We are here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for round 15 of the OSCA Weekend Woodsmen Truck Series. Tonight, two halves of action will comprise our running of the Binx Designs 100, and at the end of the night, we will know our four drivers who will be battling for the 2025A Championship. I'm Cameron Rich with Ty McIntosh and Carlos Acosta up here in the booth, and we are very excited to bring you tonight's race. Let's go ahead and take a look at our standings real quick. Last week, Daniel Gore and Tate Lytle took home their respective half one and half two victories. And with that, we see James Miller and Austin Beers tied at the top of the point standings. And very interesting note for tonight's race at New Hampshire, Austin Beers, a real-life modified driver, has many laps around this track. So look for him to be strong tonight. It's 2 points down to Daniel Gore. And then a couple more down to Ray Bracey, all the way through Jake Scarborough, Thomas Capuano, and Santiago Aguirre, the last three that are going to be in contention for tonight. So obviously we are going to have three eliminated, and four will be remaining going into next week's race at Nashville. So team points, TMR kind of pulling away with that, about a 48 point lead over South Shore. I think that's about right. Then it's Redux, Binx, RK, Weekend Woodsman, and then Do Good down back into P7. So, Ty, I think tonight's going to be a pretty fun race. New Hampshire is a track that OSCA has not visited for several seasons, so we'll have a bit of a new challenge tonight. And I think we're going to go ahead and probably get into our picks here with everyone in here. And I actually don't know who's going to be going first. It's Tim, which is Tim
Neil.
actually here tonight? I don't think he is.
Neil's going first.
Hello. Cam, you sound mighty beautiful today with your new microphone, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm going to go with my guy, my friend, Blake Barney.
You can't go with Blake Barney, dumb.
I hate you. Austin Beers. That's fine. I'll take him. It's another friend. It wasn't nice for you to call me that word.
Yeah, well, suck it up, Buttercup.
You want it doubled up?
I'm gonna go with the guy that said that he could have met me last night but didn't. I guess he moved to Minnesota and I didn't know about it. But I'm gonna go with the guy that I would totally give a mouth kiss to, and I'm gonna go with Jake Scarborough.
Nice.
Carlos, who you got?
Alright, let me go ahead and go with the Canadian driver himself, Mr. James Miller.
TP, who you got?
First off, shout out to Cam's new mic. I thought we had a new announcer in here. Let's go with Darren.
My girlfriend is gonna go with. She's gonna go with Daniel Gore in half one. Cam, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Ray Bracey.
And you sound so beautiful.
Hi, let's round this out. Who you got?
Well, I've not been able to use the top two guys yet. You know what? We're gonna go a little awkward here. I'm gonna have some faith in Thomas Capuano tonight.
That's some blind faith. He sucks here.
As
Yeah,
his team
well-
owner, yikes.
As the guy that's leading, I kind of get the back end of everything. So, yeah, I'm rolling in the deep.
As a guy who's won this 2 times in a row, maybe you should get good.
Okay, yeah, where are you at in the points? Is that P6? P5?
How many championships do you have?
Well, you know, this is my first one, and I'm doing pretty good. So I think I'm.
Oh, you haven't locked it in yet there, bud.
Yeah, you don't even have a chance, pal.
All right. Well, boys, speaking of locked in, we're ending up qualifying here. Austin Beers leading practice. He's currently leading qualifying by about not too much over Darren's staff. It's less than a tenth, but he is currently P1 right now. And then it's Blake Barney, Johnny Eckert, and James Miller, your top five. And I think we're going to see a pretty interesting little race here. This first half is going to be pretty quick. I heard the fuel run was about 40 to 45 laps, something around that. So half one, we shouldn't be seeing any pitting. It'll be a straight sprint to the end. Whoever is fastest here will probably be ending up with the win. We'll go ahead and go through the grid here. Austin Beers, he is rolling off P1. Darren Staff rolling off in P2 outside of row number 1. Blake Barney is going to roll off in P3. We haven't seen him in a few weeks, part-timer. And then Johnny Eckert, another part-timer, rolls off in P4. James Miller rolls off in P5. He's your points leader coming into tonight. Daniel Gore rolls off in P6. He's about 4 behind. Neil Rupp rolls off in P7. Jake Scarborough, now in Minnesota, has moved from California. He's P8. Thomas Capuano, he rolls off P9. Ray Bracey rolls off in P10. That's my pick, pulling for him tonight. David Westergreen rolls off P11. And DJ Weeks, he's going to roll off in P12. Take it away, Ty.
Zach Evans going to roll off 13th in number 6 machine. Santiago Guerre will roll off 14th. Matt Hackathorn 15th. Kynan Jones 16th. 17th for Dallas Myhand. 18th for Adam Peeler. Dylan Thomas 19th. Gilberto Javier Gomero 20th. Aaron Evans 21st. Dakota Pignataro 22nd. Patrick Hahey 23rd. And Noah Brown is going to start shotgun on the field in the 24th position.
Yep, and that's your field tonight. 24 trucks. 24 trucks for tonight's event, and I think, is Noah actually here? Yes, he is. He was a little spotty in practice, didn't put down a lap in qualifying. Not sure if he crashed or just chose to start back there, but he will be starting shotgun, and, well, Ty, that'll be interesting. Noah Brown is pretty aggressive, and he's got every truck in the field to pass tonight, so it should be a fun one. But no surprise to see Austin Deers up there on the pole. He's been very quick in practice, and as we kind of mentioned at the beginning of the show tonight, he has a lot of laps around here in a real-life NASCAR Whelen Tour modified, so you would expect him to be pretty quick here tonight. I think hard to say that he's not the one to beat.
Yeah, no, especially in a situation like this where he needs a good night to be able to fight for the OSCA championship next week. I think he's got to be as comfortable as he could possibly be at a track that he's ran so many laps at in real life, and you're tied for the points lead. I mean, I don't think anybody is doubting that Austin Beers is already locking up one of those championship spots next week.
We will certainly see.
Somebody to look at, notably, the points battle between Scarborough, Bracey, and Santi. They're all up there, and so's Tom. Those 4 guys are unironically kind of all around each other there from the, I believe, 7th or 8th on down. So those are going to be the guys to look at. Notably, an 8-point gap from Scarborough to Bracey. Scarborough, the 7th guy in. Bracey, the first guy, or the first guy that could be eliminated on the 4th spot there on the cut line. So we'll be looking at that all night. We won't have the exact math for you, but hopefully between half 1 and 2, we will be able to get that to you.
Out of turn number 4 here. Pace car is out. Green flag in the hands of the starter, and a good start on the inside. Good start on the outside as well for both Beers and Staff. They're going to be side by side into turn 1, but that inside line prevails. Austin Beers gets a really good run through the center here, but on the outside, Darren Staff is holding up there. He's loose. Oh, sideways for that 45. Was able to keep it together. And surprisingly, we didn't have any more commotion around that truck than that, but we do have a battle for the lead. The part-timer, the 14 of Blake Barney, he's actually into the side of Beers, and Blake Barney is going to spin out. Beers in the wall hard. Wow, that was a huge development there. We're going to have to see what goes on about that, because that was a part-timer. Ooh, Austin Beers is done for the night. I think James Miller, he's actually gotten the lead from that. What the heck kind of a start was that, Ty?
It looked like Blake, and obviously, from what I saw there, heat of the moment, it looked like Blake got into the corner a little hot, and then slid up the racetrack. New Hampshire, very bumpy. You get that bottom groove, you're going to slide up. Got into the side of Austin Beers as he was loose. He hits the apron there, gets loose, goes up the racetrack. Beers fighting it loose to the outside, head on into the outside wall hard. Collects Danny G with some damage as well. Looked like Aaron Evans might have got a piece of it. But Austin Beers, somebody that we just talked up and hyped up as the guy to look at tonight and the guy to beat. Lap 1, not even. He is out of this race.
Yeah, as Murray Walker used to say, Daniel Gore actually involved there pretty hard as well.
Significant, so that's, not nearly as little as I thought that was.
That was a huge hit, so that's going to be a big damage, big points hit for him as well. You got to think. Well, actually, I was going to say, Murray Walker, the famous F1 commentator, used to say anything that can happen, and it usually does. And I think that was the perfect kind of situation right there. Austin Beers he led practice, led qualifying, and we're on lap 1 of the race, and he's out of it, over. And it's presumably he's going to have a really good half two here, probably come out and win the race. And obviously he's going to be starting, dead last on the field when that comes around. But that's just such a huge hit on the point standings. And that's, I don't know. I'm sure he has some choice feelings about that because from up here, it was a very aggressive move from the 14. And being a part-timer, that it usually kind of evokes a little bit of questions here and there of how you should be racing other trucks who are in the championship hunt. So I'm sure the conversation will be had between Beers and Blake, but right now it's James Miller up with front, still Darren Staff up there in P2, lining up next to him.
And a little bit of a damage update on the 69 machine. Danny G is out there going around the racetrack. He has still some pretty significant front end damage. Actually, it looks pretty good to me right now. It just updated for me. It looks all right. It looked like a pretty solid shot. I think we're going to have to wait a couple laps and see if he's got anything left in that 69 truck. But certainly somebody to keep your eye on here is going to be how he's probably going to be aggressive here. He's definitely not happy. I know this format for him, this is something he talked about. He wasn't comfortable with it being a stupid wreck could take you out. And I know I might speak for some of the majority of our viewers there that wreck was pretty stupid for lap 1.
Yeah, you're not going to find an argument from me there, but we are still racing lap 4. Pace truck is off. Field's now in the hands of James Miller, who seems to have gotten a pretty good little gain out of this and a huge restart for him. He is absolutely about 5-6 car lengths ahead going into turn number 1. The battle's now for P2. Ooh, we have a wreck on the restart. Kynan Jones, Dallas Myhand, Aaron Evans. There's the 18 of Pignataro chicaning his way through, and oh, my lord, Ty. I hope we get to see some racing here.
I don't know if anybody's going to get the lobster tonight. It doesn't look like they want it.
We'll have to see what happened in the replay.
Ooh.
Oh, no,
Back
David
up.
Westergreen did not go, and I feel really bad because I made a joke to David. We ran an ARCA league on Tuesday, and David didn't find the gears, and it cost me a lot of spots. And I called out in the Discord that Zach Evans, who was behind him, was in to make sure that David got through the gears. And David did not get through the gears from the looks of it. And that is a huge stack up.
Yeah, not at all. That looked like I-95 at rush hour, just right there. Just a bad little stack up. Look at the tack. That needle should be rising. It should be going past 6, 7, 8.
Does he use a paddle shifter? I think he double shifted up.
It
Maybe
could be.
so, because he was at about maybe 5,500 when he shifted up there, and that was not optimal at all for these things. Get another look at it here. Yeah, that's yeah.
Kind of see there on with somebody who was going on the restart, their needle was moving up and just acceleration and. Bad break, though, for all these drivers because there's just not a lot you can do when it stacks up like this. We're on board here with Kynan, and he doesn't even see what happens to him. He just literally gets right hooked from behind. So it's a tough situation and not something you really want to be in as a driver, obviously. But hopefully not too much damage for any of these drivers. They can get that fixed up and get back out here going again. We'll be on here with the 6 of Zach Evans. He's kind of right behind it all and somehow stays out of the initial wreck, just kind of holds on the gas, holds on the acceleration real quick. And Matt Hackathorn as well, surprising he was able to get or not get involved in that because he had trucks spinning all around him. But, James Miller, after that wreck, James Miller, he's kind of up here cruising along and racking up some points. And, I mean, he was looking pretty well coming into tonight. He had the points lead. A couple of his closest competitors involved in early wrecks, and it's I don't know. You don't want to jinx it, but it's not looking too terribly bad for James right now. So we'll see if he can keep everything together. But another good night for Neil Rutt. He's just want to bring him up a little bit because he's had some bad luck here and there, and we've seen him run well and just get involved in wrecks and be involved in things that weren't of his doing. So it's good to see him up here running in third. He's gained 4 spots from his starting position of 7th. So nice little gain of that. And we know Neil Rutt, he races modified in real life, not at this track, but he does it in his, I think he does it at Wall Stadium. So should be pretty good here. Pace truck is off. Fields in the hands of James Miller once again. Hopefully we can get some green flag laps going, and on the loud pedal he goes. Another great restart for that 09 truck. About 4 car lengths ahead of the field going into turn number 1 here. The battle is for second. It's Darren Staff and Neil Rutt going at it. Darren Staff on that outside line. We've seen that New Hampshire, that outside line can be very strong. I think it might be the preferred. We have some argy-bargy a little bit further on in the back around P10. I saw the 9 of David Westergreen, and I think that 97 of DJ Weeks were sideways, but they were able to keep it together. And I think we're actually going to get our first green flag lap of racing here, Ty, and good to see that.
Absolutely. It's something else to keep your eye on. They were all on top of each other on the restart. You look at the situation that just happened and opened up with these guys for the points. Thomas Capuano, Jake Scarborough, Ray Bracey, and Santi, they were... Oh, DJ Weeks turns Evans!
Yep, Zach Evans involved. I think, who's that on the inside that got involved? I
think that is DJ.
Is DJ, yep.
Looked like the 18 had a little bit of damage. We keep jinxing it. Maybe we just don't mention the elephant in the room that they keep going green. I think that's the problem. We'll get a look at the Through ITV replay here. DJ Weeks on the outside, Zach on the inside. DJ just gets free.
It's loose, yep.
Tags the 6. Dakota lifts and gets ran over, I think, by the 48, it looked like, maybe.
I don't think a terrible amount of damage there for the 6 of Zach Evans. Looks like he kind of just got whipped around, and kind of a flat hit on the wall for him, about as much as you can be. So wasn't too terribly bad. I guess he didn't get hit by any other trucks or anything like that, so he should be able to just get going here and get it all fixed up in the pits. He's had a bit of an interesting night. He's been around just about all the wrecks so far, and we're on board the 48 of Aaron Evans. He's going to have a front row view of this, actually a little bit of a secondary wreck. He got into the back of the 18 of Pignataro, and he went for a spin but kept it going. I don't think he really hit anything else. But
somebody that I'm sure was a little nervous, Danny G, was right around that one once again. So Danny G, I think, has been near or just behind every wreck that has occurred tonight. So he's probably a little nervous, wondering when that's going to change for him.
And it's situations like that, Ty, like Daniel, that's what he's involved in. It's situations like that separate somebody who's really good from the greats, really, of sim racing. How you can manage when things aren't going right, and get yourself back in the game and get yourself as many points as possible. It's just it is sometimes kind of difficult to get yourself back in the game when things are going so terribly wrong. It's just a mental block. I know I've been there a few times where it's just, you can't even run fast laps because you're so focused on things going badly, and it sometimes can be a little bit overwhelming. So we'll see how Daniel can cope with that and figure out how to get some points. I think that truck is not too terribly damaged, and with the cautions we've had here tonight, we're not going to have a long run. When you have a lot of damage, it's really on a long run where that's going to manifest itself so much, because when your truck is destroyed and it's damaged, your suspension and all that's just going to be it's not going to work right. Your tires are going to be pointing in different directions. Your tires are just going to wear terribly all over the place. So not really going to have enough laps here tonight to get to a situation like that. So we only have 22 laps to go here once we get back going. Field is in the hands of James Miller once again. We have a new second place driver, Neil Rutt, who we're talking about, the real life short tractor. We'll see what he can do. Darren Staff, he's been around third or second all race, not really fallen from that, but hasn't been able to get up to the lead and challenge for that, but we'll see if he can do that with this last run here. Pace truck is off, and a good restart for that 09 of James Miller. Once again, he's going to think about changing lanes and think better of it, but he finally does there into turn number 1. Darren Staff on the inside, getting a good run through 1 and 2. We've seen him on the outside most of the restarts. He's on the inside now. We'll see if he can get a good run and do something with that. He's going to actually inherit P2 for himself down the backstretch. And now the battle's for P3 between Capuano and Rutt.
Oh, Neil's going to slide up the racetrack just behind him. Johnny Eckert, Jake Scarborough, Bracey. They're going to go 3 wide. I thought there was going to be a little bit of contact there. A little bit of door in there from the 7 and 77. Is that going to open the door for Santi to make a move on Ray? This is huge for these guys. I was about to say right before that yellow, they are all grouped up with each other. Tom was back there with him before he had a fantastic restart there. All 4 of these guys are feeling the pressure from each other. And you talk about the situation that Beers just opened up for them. Absolutely massive for these guys to try to go out and beat these guys, because they're not just taking 1 point away, they're taking 2. They're passing them, they're losing a point and gaining a point. So that's pretty huge for these guys.
Yep. Ooh, almost some contact there between Santi and D-West. You can see there Santi on the bottom right of your screen. He is absolutely locked in. And it's funny you brought up Beers there, Ty. Look right in front of Santi on the inside there, that number 14 of Blake Barney. He was the one that actually got into Beers and ended his race on lap 1. He is trying to get himself back up to the field, currently in a battle for P8 at the moment. And you got to think these drivers up here in the points hunt, they probably aren't too comfortable with that 14 around them at this point, because they know he took that number number 19 out of the race very early. So maybe just going to kind of let him go and let him play spoiler up here.
That's definitely something to tuck in the cap for sure, especially when somebody does that on lap 1. You kind of go, he doesn't have anything to lose. We have everything to lose. We have a whole season's worth of work. Oh, Jake Scarborough and Johnny Eckert, they're going to go bang doors out of turn 2. They were leaning all over each other. Blake Barney's going to make it 3 on the bottom. Another situation he's going to put himself in there, and I have to imagine that if Jake has the opportunity, he might let him go. But at what point does Blake Barney maybe back off a little?
Well, it's not going to be now, because he gets around the number 7, and he's looking to get around the number 90 for P6. Ooh, contact again. He is committed to getting into the side of anyone he can tonight with that move, and shoves the number 90 up out of the way. I don't think Johnny Eckert's going to be too happy about that one. We know he's very vocal about how he feels about when he's getting raced. So we'll have to see if something happens there. Adam Peeler slow down the backstretch. He is losing spots. A lot of damage on the left front of his machine, so maybe just trying to nurse it home a little bit. Nothing changed up at the front. It's still Miller, Staff, Capuano now your P3 driver. And we're looking back here to about around P8, 9, 10. This has been pretty much the best battle all race long. These guys have been door banging left, right, and center. Now the battle there, Santi and Matt Hackathorn, they are battling for P10 currently. Hackathorn on that inside line going into turn number 3. And one thing about this track that's really cool, Ty, this track actually, not a lot of people know, it is progressively banked. So I think it's only 2 levels of banking at this track compared to 3 or 4 at some others, but it is progressively banked. So there's a little bit more banking up there on that high side, which is why we can see some side-by-side racing here. Yeah,
last time through 3 and 4, Neil Rutt slid up a little bit. Jake Scarborough had a little bit of pressure from Blake Barney, looking to make it 3 wide, so he tucked underneath Neil and was able to make that pass work. You see Neil once again go back to the top side and get close to that progressive banking that you mentioned. And it's weird because it's like a lip too. It's like there's a really easy to spot seam where the pavement is lighter and the pavement's darker. And sometimes if you roll over that the wrong way, it's going to break the truck loose. So that's something to keep in mind as these guys get longer into this run and the tires get worn out. As you see right on board with Neil Rutt there, he's side by side with Johnny Eckert. Up front, though, Thomas Capuano under huge pressure from Jake Scarborough. Huge for the points and huge for these guys as they are all over each other. Scarborough's clearly quicker. Thomas seems to be struggling just a little bit. But right behind them, the Land Shark, well, not Kynan Jones, but the Land Shark, the guy that is quite literally hunting all of these guys down, Blake Barney, will do anything to get around these guys.
I was thinking more like Tomahawk Missile, but yeah, Land Shark works too. He is up there in the P5 spot, and I think he's gonna try to make quick work of these guys in front of him, but they are in their own battle, and both of them are in the battle for the points, as you can see denoted by the green highlight behind the drivers on the left-hand side of your screen. And they are actually trying to lean into each other a little bit there, Scarborough and Capuano. So Blake Barney, he might, we've seen him use the bumper once or twice or 3 times this race. We'll see if he does it again, but I would hopefully both Capuano and Scarborough, I think, would be very, very upset if he did that. So hopefully he can keep it clean here for now. But this battle very good for P3. And they aren't going to give it up because we got 13 laps to go is all. And that's not a whole lot of time here at New Hampshire. This is a mile track. So about lap time is about 30 seconds. We'd be done in about, 7 minutes?
I believe something like that. Thomas Capuano takes advantage of progressive banking, goes all the way up, gets a run out of the corner. Looked like Scarborough was going to get it. I think we're going to see Tom do the same thing. He's going to go above the seam. Scarborough's going to try to wash up, but the run that Tom's going to have off of the corner is going to carry him probably just about even. Oh, he's going to get to the wall.
That was a big hit there, and he's going to lose 2 spots down the backstretch. He's going to lose the spot to Scarborough and Blake Barney. Blake Barney looking on that inside line. We've seen that be a problem for him already, but he's going to keep it low and keep it out of the 77 for now. A couple other drivers looking like they're getting very close to the wall out of turn number 4. I think the grip has gone away completely for most of these guys, and now the lead actually almost at about 2 seconds between Miller and Staff. So Miller quite literally driving away at this point. He's got almost a half of a backstretch lead over Staff, and Staff, I think he's been a little bit quicker than Scarborough behind for the last couple or so laps. Scarborough now having to deal with the 14 of Blake Barney behind him, and so far been able to keep him off, keep him away from that P4 spot, or excuse me, P3, but Blake Barney looking on the inside of turn number 1 again. I think the 14, he's going to slide up and hit the left front of that number 77. I don't think he's going to be too happy about that, and we'll see if there's any kind of move here into turn number 3. I think that 14 is a little bit faster now than the 77. I don't think he's going to be able to get there and do anything. So give that 3rd position to Barney. And well, I think Scarborough probably okay with that, just for the fact that he's able to keep going and wasn't too bad of a thing there.
Yeah, no, I think definitely, you know, as far as the limitation there, he's probably happy that he's still in the top 5 and able to keep going. But when you look at it, I was going to say that, you know, if you're Scarborough, do you let him go? But every point matters. He was 8 behind the cut line. Bracy is only 3 spots behind him right now. So every point matters. He can't really do that. And unfortunately, when you put him in that situation where he can't lift, he can't let him go, and Blake Barney's going to be aggressive because he has nothing to lose. It's kind of what you're going to get there. I don't agree with how Blake Barney decided to go about that, but that's one way to do it. Scarborough now under fire from Eckert. Blake Barney all over the back bumper of Darren Staff, about 3 seconds back from our race leader, James Miller, but could be huge if something comes of it.
Yeah, that 14 is driving so hard into the corners, looking on the inside of the 45. I think he's going to dive it here into turn number 3. On the inside, on the apron, actually, going to slide up here and I think give that P2 position to the 14 of Barney. We'll see if he can hold on to it on the exit. He just barely does with a little bit of a slide job there. Actually, not as close as I initially had thought. He gets that pretty easily. He's driving it so hard into the corners compared to most of these other drivers and kind of running a diamond line. So very interesting to see. And we'll have to see if he can make any headway on the 09 of James Miller, about 3 seconds ahead. I think with 7 laps to go.
Darren!
Ooh, Darren, yeah, he actually decides he doesn't want that 14 to be in front of him and decides to do the same move to him. So, wow.
Scarborough's getting to the wall just behind him.
Darren getting his elbows out. I'm sure you like to see that one, Carlos.
Oh, they're gonna door bang.
Oh.
Door banging for second and for 4th.
This is short track race. I know we're on a mile-long track, but this is absolutely short track racing right here. Blake Barney on the inside, Darren Staff on the outside. Darren Staff's actually been very strong on the outside all race. Blake Barney going to send it off in there, and we'll see if Darren can get the better run through the center of the corner. I don't think just this lap, but maybe we'll see if he has another move left in the tank. 5 laps to go here. Not a whole lot of time. All of this racing that these 2 drivers are doing is making it pretty easy for that 09 and Miller to set sail and run away a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's something he's loving to hear in his hear from everybody behind him. Matt Hackathorn probably letting him know. And for somebody already good in the points, you got to imagine James Miller's probably content with this going green. He doesn't want to see yellow at all, especially with Daniel Bohr. He's back up into the top 10, probably about to challenge Matt Hackathorn for the 8th spot. Actually, maybe even get up to the 7th spot of Bracy. He's had a pretty good rebound, but Darren Staff seems to have nothing for Blake Barney. Looks like the closest battle to the lead is going to be Johnny Eckert making a move on Darren Staff as we head through turn 2 at the moment.
Yep, and he's going to not be able to get the power required in half number 2. So hopefully they can keep it together and we can see a little bit more racing than we saw in half number 1. About 40 seconds left here. And not that it matters, but currently who is in the lead? I don't actually see who's I don't have any standings here that are actually valid, so can't say who's in the lead. James Miller? Nah. Ticker was all messed up there. But there were some backwards drivers, as we typically see at OSCA. The backwards
There we
usually,
go.
Ray Bracey's in the lead.
You know, I think nothing's going to top our backwards driving last week. Montreal was a great battle between James and Matt. I think it was fantastic. Probably the most exciting racing we saw last week. Until we got to the chicane at the Wall of Champions, and it all went to hell. But nonetheless, we're going to go through your grid here for half number 2. I already mentioned it. Aaron Evans, he's going to start on the pole. Let's get it through. I was going to say I tried to flip mine. DJ Weeks, P2. Patrick P3. Gilberto Javier Gomera rolls off P4. Kynan Jones, P5. Santiago looking for a good rebound. He starts 6th. He's the highest up of our playoff drivers. Zach Evans, 7th. David Westergreen, 8th. Dallas Myhan, 9th. Neil Rutt, 10th. Noah Brown, 11th. And Danny G is going to round out the first half of your field.
P13, lucky P13's Matt the Hack Hackathorn. Next to him is going to be number 7 of Ray Bracey. Thomas Capuano rolls off in P15. Jake Scarborough rolls off in P16. Darren Staff rolls off in P17. Johnny Eckert, the part-timer, in P18. Blake Barney, the missile himself, he rolls off P19. Next, James Miller, your half-one winner, in P20. That's the last of your invert drivers. It's going to be Peeler, Thomas, Pignataro, and Austin Beers rolling out your field tonight. Watch for that 19 to be very fast, very aggressive, and very pissed off.
Yeah, interesting development. I scrolled down to the Toyota chat, and not only is it all of TMR in that Toyota chat, but it's one Blake Barney in there as well. So I can only imagine. I wish I was a fly on the wall for that conversation. I don't know if Blake was down there before the incident or after the incident, but the fact that he's still there alludes to the fact that I think he was there before the incident. So I would love to hear the words exchanged from those two guys at that exact moment.
Yeah, and I can't really confirm this for 100% certainty, but I do think those two are kind of friends, based on what I've heard. Just weird minglings here and there, so that would be an even more interesting development if two friendly drivers decided to nerf themselves.
So, points update. Miller is leading. Danny G and Bojo are tied for second. We don't have the exact numbers on this. I just listened to what Vic said over the driver chat. Thomas Capuano behind them, and then Jake, Santi, and Beers. So Beers goes from the top all the way to the bottom, as we figured. Jake Scarborough, first one out. Santi, second out. Obviously, Danny G, Bojo tied. There's going to be a lot to look at here. I think Austin Beers is going to be the guy to look at. I'm honestly kind of glad that you picked him and not me, for the sake of, I think he's going to drive real deep all night.
Yeah, I think, we'll see how that turns out for me. But if there is anyone who, with their back up against the wall at New Hampshire, kind of in a really bad situation, needed to pull out all the stops and get a good finish, I would think Austin Beers would hopefully be the one to do that. So he's got 65 laps here to do that tonight, and 65 laps for everyone in the field to be able to do something and get themselves settled and get these playoff drivers, their one last final push, try to get something going into the playoffs, make sure they make that top 4 cut going into Nashville. But only one lap or one pace lap here. We are rolling through 3 and 4. Your field 1 and 2, that's Weeks, Ahee, and Gilberto Javier, Weeks, Kynan Jones, and Santiago Aguirre. They were going at it for P3, 3 wide, but they have settled that out into just a 2 wide battle for 4th between Ahee and Kynan Jones. Kynan Jones actually going to get that to himself now. So we're settling out a little bit here, and I think we are pretty good at the front of the field. Let's look a little bit further on back. Austin Beers has gotten up to P17. We have it crash. Thomas Capuano is around. That's turn 2. He's going to get going. I don't think any damage on that truck. Get the replay going.
Oh,
here.
no. Oh, no. Cam, close your eyes.
A little bit of contact from the 09. Thomas Capuano actually coming over the radio and saying that he was already loose. So I don't think that he thinks that was on the 09, but we'll see with race control. Yeah, it's not great, but not a great look, but we'll see what race control calls. No damage for anyone. He was able to keep it off the wall and keep it going. Only thing that's going to be hurt is those tires, but you do have one set of them in the field or in the pits tonight, so if he so chooses to take those, he is free to. I don't think it'd be a good idea to at this point in the race because you are very early on, so hopefully he chooses not to.
I believe the call there from Vic was netcode, which, given all the netcode calls, I don't think they've still caused as many wrecks as Aaron Evans has this season. But he's our race leader right now, so maybe he can change that and win a race this season. So netcode, the call is there. I personally, it's always hard to tell from the replay, right? Because I think as spectators, it looks different than it does even for those guys that are in the race, just because they're seeing things a little differently. But Thomas Capiano, a little bit of bumper damage, not too bad. I don't think it's going to matter too much. And as you mentioned, the unhappy tires. Johnny Eckert actually coming down pit road here. I'm not sure for what. Maybe just wants to be at the back, take it easy, try to save a little bit. That's a very Johnny Eckert thing to do. Save some fuel, save some tires.
Yeah, he typically shows up to the racetrack with a bit of an extra tank or something. He seems to be able to make more fuel than anyone else at any given league race. But you see Conan Jones, he's helping the New Hampshire Motor Speedway grounds crew a little bit by cutting that edge of grass, running around very close and kicking up some grass clippings here and there. So hopefully no motorcycles on the racetrack. But we are going green here this lap. Aaron Evans was able to keep the lead on that little exchange of a couple laps there. So we'll see if we can get some green flag running here. Looking a lot like half number one so far with the early cautions. So we'll see if we can get something going here. But I think the current leader or current biggest mover, as we were kind of talking about right when the caution came out, Austin Beers, he's able to gain 9 spots on that start. He's up to 15th already from P last. So I think we are seeing a very angry, very determined and motivated Austin Beers tonight. He's got to pull out all the stops, and he's probably got to win the race to be able to get himself into the championship here. So we'll see what happens here. Pace truck's about to pull off. Field in the hands of Aaron Evans for another restart. DJ Weeks, a lot more clean start here than the initial start. Good restart for that 48 on the inside line. The inside line has been the best line to restart all night long, and we see it once again here. P2 now going to the 88 of Santiago Aguirre. Here he comes on the inside, looking to try to make a move on the 48 of Aaron Evans. Not going to be able to do it just now. Looking a little bit further on back for the battle for P4 between Conan Jones and David Westergreen. David Westergreen on the outside, Jones on the inside. We have a crash in the back of the field. Who was that? That's the 14 of Barney and the 27 of Peeler. Let's see what happened there, but Peeler with a lot of damage on the front end of that truck.
We get a look at the wreck here. We got something to go look at on some action from the restart there. Let's see, Adam Peeler. He is... Where is he?
Oh, dare!
Oh.
And
was
that 19.
Was that the holiest of netcode I've ever seen?
That was probably the most gigantic amount of netcode I've seen.
Yeah, we got to look at this from the top view because I didn't see 14 and...
Whoa, hold on, whoa. Look,
I saw the RPM.
Yeah, the RPM shot up like as if it went to neutral or something. Or like it downshifted. Look at the RPM. He downshifted. He downshifted.
Oh, no.
That wasn't that good. iRacing, I'm sorry. We take it back.
Well,
that's
give it and take it away.
Well, yeah, if that was indeed the case, I would like to give the Bonehead Move of the Night award to the driver of the 14 for causing 2 of the silliest wrecks I've seen in a league race in a long time. So no bias there. I just want to say what I have seen. So congratulations on that. But we are back here at the front of the field. Aaron Evans is doing well. He is the leader, and we're on lap 9. So quite a bit of racing to go here. We haven't even really gotten into the stride of things just yet. So we're going to be reset the field here. It's Evans, Aguirre, Weeks, Conan Jones, and Daniel Gore. He's been able to make a pretty big charge up from his P12 starting spot. Another driver with a lot to prove. He was involved in some early wrecks in half one, wasn't able to really get himself up there and fight for the win like he probably thinks he should have. Finished 9th in half one. We know that 69 truck is very fast, is going to be very fast at every race we are here. So look for him to try to make a statement and get up towards the front. And see Austin Beers up to P10 now. He's able to gain a couple more spots on that tiny little restart we have just through, really just through 1 and 2. But Beal in the hands of Aaron Evans once again. And he is on the loud pedal, as is everyone else. Good restart on that inside line. Once again, inside line has been up, and I think he's going to get the run here off of turn number 4. You can see him wheeling that thing, but he's going to take the lead, give the lead in number 88 of Santiago Aguirre.
Austin Beers did it on the last restart. He's going to do it here. He's going to go all the way down to the apron. He's going to go 3 wide all the way on the bottom. He's done this. That's how he gained all those spots. We got a beef between Santi and Aaron. They're fighting. Austin Beers, though, he's fighting for his life all the way down on the apron. You're right along with Kynan Jones here. Repping the paint scheme a little there. He's got the design on the, I think, the T-shirt there. I don't know if it's a T-shirt or a bag on the side of the seat, but that's pretty sick.
There's a towel.
Doing shades of Darren with all of his Mountain Dew. The Beers, though, I mean, Austin, look at him down there. Even
look
on
at this camera.
All the way to the bottom of the racetrack, underneath the paint. I'm sure he's killing the right side tires. What I was going to mention when we had that wreck, something I want to look at on the restart, 2 corners in a row, Austin Beers went all the way down to the apron, made it 4 wide in turn 1, made it 3 wide in turn 3, and mugged people of a bunch of spots. Danny G, though, he's all over the back bumper of Kynan Jones with Beers with pressuring him. Jake Scarborough's looking to break into the top 5 around Aaron Evans.
Yeah, what a wild development up here. Santiago Aguirre, the camera that he has from behind him is pretty menacing. They're about to be 3 wide for P2 here. Ooh, Aaron in the wall hard. No caution yet. There it is. He stops the truck in the middle of 1 and 2. He's mad at someone. And I didn't really hear what was going on.
There was an exchange between Jake and Aaron. Aaron, I mean, we've talked about his struggles, and he turned into the corner and tried to get to the bottom, and Jake was already down there, and he kind of turned himself and then went into the outside wall. So, yeah, I can't really. Jake was committed to the bottom. Aaron was turning in a little late. I think Jake was going to be fine making the corner. Aaron just didn't really give him a chance to, and Aaron said, "Have a good night," and disconnected. So,
I think there's 4 letters that could best describe that situation right there, and that is FAFO.
Yeah. If you're going to not really have spatial awareness, I mean, it's going to show. Sorry, Carlos. I hate to hound on him, but...
All right, here's the restart.
Yeah, this is Austin Beers. Note that he is up to the 4th position from restarting 10th, and that happened at about a lap and a half. I believe he went to the outside of Zach Evans here, and maybe even made contact with Zach. I thought he was going to try to get to the bottom, but Zach and him are going to make contact, and Beers is still going to stick it up on the wall and clear off the corner, and then this is going to open the door for him to do what he did twice on the last restart and go all the way down to the apron and sling it.
And that's a driver who's, you know, he's kind of after finishing last in half number 1, you know, you kind of just have to send it out there, and he has to basically win the race tonight, half number 2, to have any shot at getting himself in the points battle, because it's very highly unlikely that a lot of the other drivers are going to have a bad night or finish as badly as he did in half number 1. It's not saying it can't happen. We have a lot of racing to go here in half number 2, but the odds are stacked against him. So, you know, he's just kind of throwing it out there, and you know, you can see the reckless abandon a little bit from Austin Beers, but we have seen that from him before, and you know, he can come out here tonight and get it done if he needs to. So, you know, it's just that's a driver who's very confident in this track, very confident in that truck, and you know, not going to leave anything out on the table.
Absolutely. And we were actually given the points total. So James Miller has a 16-point cushion over Danny G and Bojo. So Ray Bracey, Daniel Gore, they are tied for second at 20-44. It's 4 back to Tom entering this race. So Tom right now holds the 4th seed. Jake Scarborough 2 points out. Santi 8 points out. Austin Beers 10 points out of the 4th position. So He's going to have to outdo Tom by 10. He's going to have to outdo Jake by at least 8. I think 9, actually. So, yeah, he's got a long way to go. And some of these guys have had, rough starts. Tom had an incident. Jake, obviously, lucky that he didn't get any damage from the incident with Aaron Evans. Danny G's up here fighting with Austin Beers. So, a lot could happen. But Beers is definitely got to keep his head on straight.
Yep, the pace truck is off field in the hands of Santiago Aguirre. Good restart for him, and that inside line's been stout all night. Battle for second now, Danny G and Kynan Jones. Like Danny G, he's actually going to be under fire from the 19 of Beers. He's not going to waste any time. Going to send it 3 wide through 1 and 2, and not going to get the run off. Actually, Danny G is all sorts of sideways. He's probably not too happy about that, but Austin Beers, he's shown reckless abandonment. He has shown he doesn't care about anyone else tonight. He is going to go for max points. Going to give a little shot to the 88 of Santiago Aguirre. We'll have to. That was an interesting form of racing from.
Now.
Yeah, I think he could have probably waited on that for a lap or two. We've seen that 19. He has the speed. I don't think he had to use the bumper there, but that is up for discretion. Now the battle is between the Redux cars of that's for P3 Santiago Aguirre and 69 of Daniel Gore. Actually, the far behind a Redux truck as well. Jake Scarborough, he's looking for a good night. Had a good night, half number 1, finished P5. Currently running P5, so just about the same.
Get in the back.
Ooh, we have a. Yep, that is the 60 or the 13, I believe, and the 45 of Baron Staff. See what happened there, but all sorts of action on that restart, and we'll have to probably speak with Santi and see how he feels about that later on in this race, but he probably feels like he got nerfed out of the way, and I think Darren Staff might feel that way too, because he got turned around from behind by the 13 of Dylan Thomas, and that was kind of that. The 66 of Rutt involved as well. See the 45 of Staff, he's up there on that lane 3, and just might have come down, yeah. Think we'll have to see what that's called, but they might have just merged together on the racetrack, kind of going for the same line on the exit there. We're on board here with Neil Rutt. He's going to get involved a little bit. I think he got punted from behind by Matt Hackathorn.
Cliff Field, by the way, going down Hill Road.
Man, I'm a little heated up here. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There's a lot of carelessness out there on the racetrack tonight, and I know it's coming from one of the guys that has to do it because it's a situation he's been put in, but I don't agree with it, not even a little.
Yeah, I think there could have been a little bit more discretion there. When you show the speed, I think at that point it's. You're not making yourself any friends. You have 3 of the same. Well, actually, you have all 4 Redux cars behind you right now. We'll just point that out. The 69, the 88, the 77, the 65. They are P2 through 5 currently. So they all saw, and they're all in a Discord call they all know that 19 just basically shoved the 88 out of the way. He's probably not going to get many breaks on this restart. We're just going to be honest here. That's how racing works. So I say that as his team owner. He has made his bed, and he will have to lie in it. Whatever happens. Yeah, that's he is probably not going to have a very easy restart here.
Obviously. Go ahead.
We have a driver in the interview waiting. We can talk to him after a couple of laps once we go back to green.
I think the big thing too is that it's not a huge thing with the Redux guys, I don't think, but Santi's definitely he's the little brother of the group, and you've got an probably not happy Danny G, who also got the same move done to him, fighting for this. So this is going to be great TV for us, I think. Yeah, and if you're Austin Beers, your best bet is to drive it so hard into turn number 1 that you're hitting Concord on the way in there. So pace truck is off. We'll see if he can get away here, but he does have 4 angry Redux trucks behind him. Good restart. The inside line has been OP all night. He's going to get the lead to himself by about 3 car lengths into turn number 1. It's going to be a battle between the Redux truck. You see Santi on the inside there on the apron. He's going to try. We know what he was trying to do there. I won't say it, but we all know what he was trying to do there.
You can't prove it.
We can't prove anything. We didn't see anything up here in the booth, but You could see it yourself. Battle now for P2, 69 of Daniel Gore, 88 of Santiago Aguirre. He was trying to get the lead there from the 19. We'll say that's what he was trying to do, but wasn't able to be successful. And it's currently now battle for P5 to break up the Redux monotony at the front. It's the battle for P5 between Noah Brown and James Miller. James Miller on the inside. It's so hard to complete that pass on the inside, Ty. You just don't have the banking and you don't have the grip. But I think James Miller actually going to be able to do it not quite. Noah Brown drives it into, or he drives it on the outside there into turn number 3, and here comes James Miller gets that spot, and he's looking for more.
Yeah, and he's somebody that doesn't really have to push it. I mean, he's got a pretty significant lead over the cut line, and back to even Austin Beers if he was worried about that, but he's not really going to care about that. He's going to try to get the best result he can for himself at the end of the day, and Jake Scarborough and Santi, he's in a Redux box right now. Noah Brown blocking him in from behind. Oh, contact with Scarborough. That almost makes James make contact with Santi. Zach Evans, he's running really good tonight. He's looking to try to take advantage of some of this misfortune up here. Here's Matt Hackathorn, though. He's going to come on the outside. So it's just a whole bunch of Toyotas.
Yeah, and with the amount of running into each other these TMR and Redux trucks are doing, it's a while that there's been a little bit of accusation of them working together. I think they've shown tonight that they don't really, they are both very strong teams, and they are both out for themselves, just trying to, they have very strong drivers like Beers and Gore, who, the strong, fast drivers, they typically have big heads, and they want to go out for themselves. So it's just what you're going to see with teams who are stronger and want to get up towards the top, and that's what we've kind of seen in this championship so far. But currently Beers got a 3/4 of a second lead over Gore, and then it's a second back to James Miller. James Miller actually was able to get around all that kerfuffle with the Redux trucks, and I think James Miller, whether he knows it or not, I think he's Austin Beers' best friend right now, because he's kind of going to have to act as the buffer between them and him.
Yeah, and I mean, if there's somebody that you want to take the points, I think you don't want the guys that you're racing on the cut line. You want the guy that's so far up there that it almost doesn't even matter, right? So James had a lot of pace in half 1. He's doing really good here in half number 2 of working through these guys that are fighting hard for everything that they have to. I mean, you talk about Jake Scarborough and Santi, those two. Jake's 4 out, Santi's 8 out. They have to fight each other whether they want to or not. I'm sure that it's something that they don't enjoy, but they don't really have a choice. And then you look at some other guys that are trying to come up and have good runs. Bojo had a fantastic run in half number 1. He finished 7th. He's hanging on in the 10th spot. He doesn't have to do a whole lot. He's tied with Danny G. He's actually going to be under fire from Darren Staff with a huge send on at the bottom. Very Austin Beers-esque of what he's tried tonight. He's not going to get the job done. Going to get actually loose. So, yeah, I don't know. I think James is in the hot seat. I'm trying to look back at some of these guys that are maybe making their way through the field. Blake Barney is making a good charge now. He was 14th a couple laps ago. He's up to 12th. Thomas Capuano hanging out 17th. I think they're just waiting to use that set of tires for the 21 machine at least. But there's a lot of storylines right now that we're going to have to keep our eye on here. And for it to happen in the last race of Darren, that's his end. I don't know about that one. Oh.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. We didn't see anyone really use that apron line until Beers started doing it, and then we've seen a couple other drivers start to try it. And I don't think anyone's really had as much success with it as Beers had, obviously. I think it's more of a early run line. I think once the tires are a little bit worn here, I think it loses its effectiveness a little bit, but definitely cool to see those drivers kind of learn from what he's doing. And probably, Beers obviously taking that real life experience he has at this racetrack. Not a bad one to learn from, but he has increased his lead over Daniel Gore by about 1.5 seconds. We're looking at Noah Brown here. He's currently 5th, holding off his teammate Santiago Aguirre and the 04 of Hackathorn, another TMR truck in that 04. So looking to be a big battle between TMR and Redux again this week. Hackathorn's going to drive it off into turn number 1 on that inside line and try to slide up in the middle of those trucks, right between the 65 and the 88. And I think he's going to just get in there, just barely. So, yep, move him up to the 6th position. Matt Hackathorn, he's been a driver that's had some good runs, not a lot of good finishes this season, but he's had a few good runs and has had some bad luck. Some not of his doing, a lot self-inflicted, we'll have to be honest there, but having a good run right now up there in P6. We'll see if he can keep it together. good battle here behind him between Santee and Kynan. Kynan on the inside line. And there's 14 of Blake Barney. Haven't seen him for a while, but he was a focal point in half number 1 and trying to maybe see if he can be a focal point in half number 2. Hopefully for a better reason, though.
Yeah, I haven't really been able to watch him go through the field too much, but I'm assuming that because we haven't had the yellows, that he's done it pretty cordially so far. As you see him move up into the A spot, now going to be putting some fire on Kynan Jones and Matt Hackathorn as he looks to work his way through. Austin Beers pulls away a little bit further over James Miller now. James Miller to the 2nd spot, Danny G back to 3rd. Scarborough still about a 2.5 seconds off of that, 4th. And then you see the cluster that we are all looking at. Darren Stafford, another huge lunge to the bottom. Underneath Blake Barney, want to get that spot back. I don't think anything's going to come of it. I mean, this late into the run, you wear the right front out and doing that so many times, you're not going to be able to carry really any momentum.
Yeah, but it is really good to see this track be so racy. These drivers all night have been able to use 1, 2, 3, 4 lines almost through the corners. So not something you typically associate with New Hampshire Motor Speedway. I think that's it's one of the, I'd say, less exciting races in real life. Sometimes it can be all right, but I think it's usually one of the less exciting races in real life. But this is absolutely good stuff here tonight, and saw good battle there between the 65 and the 73. 65 of Noah Brown, he got around the 73 of Kynan Jones. Now Kynan Jones under fire from the 14 of Blake Barney. Blake Barney, he started back in 19th position, has been a little bit of a slower mover through the field than, say, Austin Beers or James Miller. So maybe learn from his half-one shenanigans to keep himself out of the playoff drivers. And actually, as we say that, he doors the 65 of Noah Brown, not a playoff driver, so maybe picking his battles a little bit better here. But that 45 of Darren Staff, that was a sharp move. He's going to dive it down into turn 1 and try to get the 7th position away from the 73 of Kynan Jones.
And looking a little bit further back, Thomas Capuano, he was down in 17th. I think he's been biding his time and trying to take care of those tires after the spin. So far, so good. He's back up to the 14th spot. He's looking to make a charge on Patrick Hahey for 13th. Right in front of him, the squabble that we've seen for 11th, 12th, and 10th, starting with Ray Bracey, Zach Evans, and Santee. He's going to be a factor here, and Tom has done a fantastic job. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was in pretty rough shape after the spin, knowing that there's only that one set of tires in the pits, that it was too early to really do anything with it. And he's done a fantastic job. He's going to clear Patrick Hahey and have a shot at Zach Evans and Santee here headed into turn 3.
Yep, and he's going to make that move, looking for 3 wide down there, and he's going to go all the way down to the grass. He's going to almost get 2 there through 3 and 4, but not quite. Actually, not quite the run off he needed, but he's not going to give it up. He's making good use of that inside, very inside line, which I think he probably learned from his teammate Austin Beers, but it's the move done there into turn number 1 on Santee, so that's going to be the 11th position.
They're going to be 3 wide, headed on the back straightaway.
Yeah.
Go back to 2 momentarily, but I think Tom might send it. Nope, Santee's going to back off. Going to get the run out of the corner maybe on Tom. It's going to stall. Here comes Patrick Hahey.
Give it to Zach Evans for now. Zach Evans is in P11, so Thomas Capuano on P12. A little bit further up in the field, the 09 of Miller and Gore. Beers has kind of set sail to about a 3.5 second lead over these two. It's about a half second between Gore and Miller. I think Gore is a little bit slower than Miller at the moment, so not quite able to keep on the back of that 09. But I guess I don't think we've mentioned this tonight, but the points reset going into next week in Nashville. So it's not like NASCAR's system where the drivers are just seated with equal points. The drivers do keep their playoff, or quote unquote playoff points. They do keep their points going into next week in New Hampshire. So Miller, even though he is through to the next round. At Nashville. We're
I hear it again.
I think Austin Beers might like that, but yeah, we're at Nashville next week.
It might be 50-50 after the first half.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But he is, with as hard as he was driving at the earlier laps in the stint, he is still very quick. So he was able to keep those tires under the truck and keep the speed in it. So very impressive run by him. Questionable way to get to the front, but he has shown that he probably should have been there all along. Since there's pit stops. Santiago Guerri, he's decided to come down pit road. 24 laps to go. We know these drivers do have to pit. I think the full run was about 40, is what we said at the beginning of the broadcast. Santi, he doesn't look too happy. Don't know if that's RBF or concentration, or if he's a little bit salty over that move, the 19. I would probably be a little bit upset about it myself, because I don't think it was too fair, but he will get over it. We'll get some new tires on that truck, get back going, and he is going to have a little bit of an undercut. Yeah, we got some 3 wide a little bit further on the back. That's around P17, 16, 15-ish. That's David Westergreen, Gilberto Javier Gomera, and Dallas Mayan all going at it. Matt Hackathorn on the pit road as well now. He was running about. Yep, he's in. James Miller in. So I think, yep, the window's definitely open now. So Santi, he might not have as much of an advantage as he thought he was going to have, but should have a couple of laps over the trucks that are around him. But I guess something we're going to have to look for is this is a pretty hard pit road to get on, Ty. You have to kind of make a pretty hard cut down to the left off of turn number 4 and then get down to, I think it's 45 miles an hour pit road speed. So we'll have to watch for speeding and things like that as we go through the stops here. Austin Beers off.
Austin Beers, black flag.
Wow.
Oh, no.
As we were saying.
He disconnected.
I think he just quit.
Austin Beers.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
there goes the broadcaster championship. Good win, Ty.
That is like. So I get it. Like, you know, you get a black flag. You had a whole season, and then like we talked to Austin Beers, and he wanted to fight for the championship, and I think he still could have done that. The black flag isn't ideal. You get a yellow. I mean, it would have been really hard. But we've seen Austin Beers do this time and time again. We saw him do it literally this race, where he drove through the field. I don't really agree with that. You know, I don't know. I think when you drive like that, and that's how you get to the lead, you got to finish it up. And yeah, I don't know. That doesn't sit right.
I would have to agree with you, Ty. It's almost like causing unneeded chaos. You know, if you're going to get to the lead like that and then not follow through with actually winning the race. But I mean, it's 50-50. It's neither here nor there now. We can 100% confirm that Austin Beers is going to be one of the 3 out of the championship hunt going into next week in Nashville. I'm pretty certain to say that.
Thomas Capuano just smoked the wall in front of Scarborough. Scarborough has pitted. Thomas Capuano has not. Oh, Scarborough! Oh, shit!
That is not good right there. Woo, big hit. And actually, as you were saying,
What?
Ty, that black flag for Austin Beers could have been nullified with this right here. So, you know, big hit for the 77 there of Jake Scarborough. We have some drivers mad on the radio over that. And well, another TMR and Redux incident.
Oh, net code!
The engine's blown on Scarborough's machine. Scarborough's done. That
Yeah,
is Scarborough's
done.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys. Look at the blimp camera.
Here, go to your blimp. See what we got here.
Oh wait, did he
No,
just get
Scarborough got
loose?
loose. He got loose. He sent it into the corner and got loose.
Yeah, I know Jake's going to be upset about that a little bit, but if you're going to make a move like that, send it on somebody, you kind of have to. You kind of have to make sure that you keep the truck under you.
Hey, listen,
what
I'm
just
not gonna
happened?
lie. I thought from that initial look, I thought the 21 dumped the 77.
Well,
That was not the case.
the broadcast title's back on. You thought it was done. Fun fact, buddy, it's not. It just got 10 times harder for both of us.
Wow.
I don't like this. Damn it.
Are we going to give Vic's girlfriend the win here now? Is that what's going to happen?
Well, so she went with Peeler for half number 2, and she went with James Or no, she went with Danny G for half number 1. So we were good in half number 1. We're bad in half number. I don't know, man.
Who did I
So
pick?
you did pick Jake, didn't you? That's
I did, yeah.
Well,
Yikes.
one thing we can say about tonight is it has not been devoid of action. And
No?
well, look who's leading. We got Blake Barney up in the lead next to Kynan Jones. That's about a chaotic row if I've ever seen one right there, but we'll have to see how they handle the restart because I don't. So we were in the middle of a pit stop cycle when that came out.
The majority
Did
of the
the
front
14
runners, the majority of the front runners did get like they were back in the lead lap. The 14 did
Okay.
go down pit road on lap 19. Wait, what? Yeah, the Kynan Jones and Blake Barney have gone down pit road. The last time they went down pit road was lap 19.
So they're gonna have some old
Western
tires
Green
here on the
too.
restart. I think James Miller should have new-ish tires, and then Danny G, Matt Heckler behind them. The restart, we are there. Green flag out once again. The inside line with another good restart for Blake Barney. It's going to be a battle for the fresh tires a little bit further on back. Here comes James Miller trying to go 3 wide through 1 and 2. He's pretty good on the points, and that was a really tight move there through 1 and 2, but he's going to survive the move and then get himself up into P2. I think he's not too long before he's going to be in the lead, I don't think, because he has much fresher tires than that 14 of Blake Barney, but we'll see if the 14 can...
Noah Brown!
Oh!
What a move underneath that
Oh.
Western Green. His teammate is going to make contact with his teammate. We've seen that before. Danny G, he's going to go all the way to the bottom of the racetrack to try to get around Kynan Jones and Matt Hackathorn. Brown's going to try to follow Darren Staff with a huge lunge.
They're all over the track. They're next to the inside wall. They're next to the outside wall. Battle for the lead. 09 of Miller, 14 of Barney going at it. The 09 of Miller, he's given a lot of room. I think he saw what happened in the 14 last race. In the 19, that's his teammate in the 09. But the 09 of Miller, he's going to get the lead out of turn number 4. That was pretty inevitable because I think the tire difference was just going to be too much.
4 wide? Oh, okay.
4 wide, a little bit further on back.
Almost.
There's the 65 and the 21 are going at it. 20 contact. 21 gets the 65. Noah Brown is all sorts of sideways, and these two teams that have been working together all season obviously are just wrecking each other every single lap. I don't know what that's about, but Jesus Christ, I think we could probably be a little bit cleaner here. But yeah, that's contact from the 60, the 65, and the 21. The stakes are high here. It's high. Everybody's trying to go for every single point they can.
I don't know what cardiologist Kynan Jones went to see about getting his heart rate down, but I think we're going to need it after this race because our playoff bubble is blown so wide open that I can't even do math. I can't even think to do math. I think Tom's in. I think it's Bojo. And math is hard, okay? This used to be a joke in the Nurse Aviator Discord. It's not anymore. Math is genuinely hard. I don't know. There's so much going on. I'm overstimulated, genuinely. Blake Barney seems to be somebody that could get up there and fight for the win. Thomas Capuano's moving people out of the way. I'm terrified.
Blake
Don't
Barney is
now, but
on
the fact-
really old tires, by the way.
Don't look now, but the fastest truck on the track right now is the 90 of Johnny Eckert. He is 2/10 behind the 09 of Miller, tracking that 09 down, looking for the lead. And I think James Miller probably going to play it safe here. He won half number 1, and he is going to probably finish the best out of the playoff drivers in half number 2 if he keeps it straight. But, well, as we say that, he's doing a little bit of a block-a-do there into turn number 1 on the number 90. And I think that battle is going to be pretty short here. That 90 is super quick, and actually Capuano looking pretty stout there in the 3rd position. Another driver that's used the front bumper a lot today. One that hasn't, though, is that number 90 of Eckert. He's been pretty clean, and I think, there you go, P1 for the number 90 of Eckert.
That's somebody that, I think that might have been his strategy for half number 2 is back it off, save some stuff. Clearly, he hasn't really needed it. 9 to go. He's to the lead. We got a battle for 4th. 3 wide. Darren Staff, Danny G, Matt Hackathorn. They are fighting for it. That's actually for P4. Sorry. Thomas Capuano pretty far ahead in P3. Blake Barney's actually going to get passed by Johnny Eckert now. He's going to be a lap car. Danny G doesn't really need the points at this point. I mean, I think right now you're really looking at Tom and Bojo and Santi who are fighting, but I think everybody should be pretty stagnant. A little bit of contact with the wall there for Hackathorn. He's going to hold it all right.
Yep, and as soon as Eckert took the lead, he's kind of set sail just a little bit. Actually, who's that? I think that's Peeler. A lot of damage to both sides of the truck. He has shortened the width by quite a bit there, but Eckert got to the lead. And he's immediately gotten out to about a half a second lead here on that 09. I think the 09 is just, you know, he might be saving a little bit. Thomas Capuano has caught up to him just a little bit there in staff. I think James Miller, he probably knows that those aren't drivers necessarily that he's going to be fighting with. Staff obviously out of the playoffs as of now, and Capuano, he's going to be a little bit further on back. So,
we got a wreck.
What is going on there? We have trucks
Kynan.
on the inside, outside. Kynan is around.
No,
No yellow.
Okay, good
Stay
recovery.
green.
No caution.
Multiple contact. I mean, Dakota Pignataro and Gilberto, I was watching that. They got into each other going into 1. They leaned on each other going into 3. Looked like this similar to the Scarborough Aaron Evans incident. Kynan checked up for it.
Dallas.
Dallas Myhan just absolutely drove through him, which questionable things have come out of Dallas lately.
Battle for second. Battle for second.
Thomas Capuano and James Miller, they're going to be side by side. This is huge for Tom. Tom's going to send it down to the bottom, shades of his teammate, and what we've seen everybody else do. Darren's going to do the same thing. He's going to try to clear James Miller for third. James must have burned his tires up. 6 laps to go, Cam. Thomas Capuano might have a chance to get up there to Johnny Eckert and make a fight for it.
Yeah, and he might be looking for the walk-off because he was a little bit on the outside looking in coming into tonight, but a P6 run in half number 1, and he's looking for second, maybe first here in half number 2. You know, that's a great run. Might be able to get himself into that Final Four and battle for a championship, but Darren Staff is looking very racy behind him. He actually almost made some contact with the rear bumper of Capuano into turn number 3 there. Capuano almost in the outside wall. I think he actually did touch it just a little bit. Didn't hurt the speed too terribly much, but both of these drivers are a little bit faster than that number 90 of Eckert. So we are seeing a lot of comers and goers here very late on here in New Hampshire.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen up, down. I mean, you're looking at everything there. Eckert is not as fast as these two, but these two were just marginally faster than him, and it's not enough, I think, with 4 laps to go, unless we see huge swings to get to Johnny, especially if they start fighting now. Darren's going to be to the inside of Tom. It looks like they're probably going to be pretty even as we head into turn 1. Darren's going to make a huge stand. Tom's going to back it up. Darren's somebody that we've already seen get his first OSCA win of his career this season in Indianapolis. Tom with a good run. Was that just a... No, he's not quite there. Well, I don't know. Tom's going to look for it. Huge send from Tom, huge send from Darren. They're both cutting into the gap, but I don't think that's going to happen for much longer. Huge swings there from Darren Staff and Tom's Capuano.
The sideways there off of turn number 4 for the 45. They're both trying to catch that number 90, and they are a little bit quicker. Not last lap. Johnny Eckert was about 0.3 quicker than Capuano and just a smidge quicker than Darren Staff. And I think, might be doing his thing and setting sail here on the last few laps of the race, Johnny Eckert. He doesn't really have to worry about too much going on behind him right now. I think he has a pace he's going to run, and he's going to stick to that no matter what's going on behind him. Through 3 and 4, the white flag in the hands of the flagman. There he goes. It is the white flag into the wall a little bit for the 45, but not going to matter too terribly much. Johnny Eckert has a half a second lead on the 45 of Darren Staff. It's Capuano, Miller, and Gore rounding out your top 5 currently. And through turns 1 and 2 down the backstretch, it's looking good for Johnny Eckert. He has not won this season. I think he's only been at about 3 or 4 races, but to get through 3 and 4 here at New Hampshire, he's going to take home half number 2. Give the win to the number 90 of Johnny Eckert.
How about it?
P2, Capuano, Miller, and Gore round out your top 5. That was a wild race there, Ty.
Yeah, and I think we kind of know who the championship 4 are. I think we're looking at them. Miller, Capuano, Gore, Bracey. I think that's your 4. There was a whole lot going on there. I could be wrong, but I think that's who it is. Looking at rounding out your top 10, DJ Week 6, Noah Brown 7th, Neil Rutt 8th, Matt Hackathorn 9th. 10th for Patrick Hahey, a good run for him. 11th for Bojo, 12th Zach Evans, 13th Santiago, 14th D West, 15th for Dakota Pignataro, 16th for Gilberto Javier Gomera, 17th Dallas Myhan, 18th Kynan Jones, Blake Barney 19th, Peeler 20th, 21st for Dylan Thomas, 22nd Scarborough, 23rd Beers, 24th Aaron Evans. But James Miller has a lot to celebrate. Half 1 win, definitely moving on to the championship round here next week in Nashville. And how about Johnny Eckert? You talk about a part-timer that has had a lot of history in OSCA, one of the more dominant guys OSCA's seen. And how about, last chance in the season, he's going to pop off and he's going to win one here at New Hampshire.
And what a way to do it too! When we saw so much contact and so much beating and banging tonight, kept his nose clean and did it the old-fashioned clean way. He was faster than his competition, passed him cleanly, did it without any. There's no question about this one for Johnny Eckert. So he's gonna burn it down here at the front stretch. We're gonna let these drivers get settled out a little bit and see what they can do, get their thoughts together, and we will get some interviews for you tonight. I think probably want to go ahead and talk to the top, the championship 4 once we go ahead and know who that is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm game.
It's probably a good idea. I think we can probably, if you guys want to, I think we know somebody who's out and probably has some choice words if we would want to bring him up very quickly. Mr. Jake Scarborough, I'll grab him real quick. Jake, buddy, it's type in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, pretty heartbroken for you. I know you had a really good run, and everything that went on with beers, it kind of opened the door for you to take a big swing there. And obviously, with a little contact with Tom, it looked like you might have went into the corner a little deep and tried to hang on to it, and just a little bit of contact there. But just run us through your thoughts there and how you feel.
I mean, I don't even know what to say. There's a lot I can say, and a lot I'm not going to say, but, I mean, it's just annoying when you were top 3 in points basically all season until you had to miss a race. Had, good finishes outside of that, and don't even get the chance to run for the title. So, that's definitely annoying. I feel like I did everything right, and, the incident with Thomas, my interpretation of it is he got into the wall, runs 2 lanes down. I already know I'm going to have to take a shallow entry, and he keeps running me lower and lower to where I have to jab the brakes to avoid running into him, get loose from it, try saving it, and he just kind of runs through me at that point. And I find it annoying because he also cleared himself on me twice at the start of half 1, and I hit the brakes to avoid turning him. So, I cut someone a break and I can't even get the same thing back. So it's just annoying. But definitely feel like I should have been in the Final 4.
All right, buddy. Well, I know it's obviously not what you wanted, not what you deserved either. Let's get some shout-outs in before we send John back down.
Just want to thank everyone at Redux and everyone that's found the car all season. It sucks that I haven't even been able to get a win, but I was hoping I would be able to make the Championship 4 for those guys, but it is what it is. Appreciate you guys commentating the whole season. Look forward to seeing what you guys do next week. Hopefully I can end the dry spell there and, run or write something that should be written.
All right, buddy. Well, hopefully we get to hear from you on better circumstances next week, and good luck on the end of the season.
Appreciate it.
That was Jake Scarborough, one of the 4 eliminated. And I believe Cam has actually got some pretty good news for some drivers and some bad news for the others.
Yep, we have our official Final 4 going into next week. It's going to be James Miller, Daniel Gore, Thomas Capuano, and Ray Bracey going to be fighting for a championship at that event. And, let's keep the theme going here, Ty. I think this driver also probably is going to have some choice words about what happened tonight. He's locked out of the championship going forward. Let's get him up here. Santiago Aguirre, you got a copy? This is the booth.
I gotcha.
So, unfortunately, not going to be going into next week's race with a shot at a championship, as we know the Final 4 after tonight. But, tell us about your night. You had a pretty good run there in half number 2, and I think both Ty and I were a little bit questionable about the tactics that were used to pass you. It looked like it was a little bit unnecessary, but I don't know. Just take us through your night and maybe what you could have done better, could have done worse. Just take us through it.
I don't know. Tonight was like all over the place. There was half 1 didn't go the way I wanted it to. I shredded my stuff early trying to get up there. I just fell back, and there wasn't really a situation where I could pit and it would benefit me, so I had to stay out, deal with it, and make do with what I had. And you know, it didn't go our way. Have to is something. P6 got a good start. I think on the first lap I got 3 of them. 3 or 2. It was one of those. I don't know. But I was able to get up to the lead after the cautions at one point, and I kept hearing on the radio, "Oh, Beers is going low, like below the apron," and I was like, "Okay." And then, you know, I wanted to hold him down there because I knew that if he didn't get up, he wasn't gonna be able to get a run. So I just wanted to hold him down. Oh man, but you know, things happen. It's a tough spot to be in. That was kind of the end of me. But you know, it's a shame not being able to fight for it next week. But kind of had to go in expecting it. I mean, the guys I'm racing against are really, really good compared to what I can do. So not too upset, but just a little bummed out. Yeah, just looking forward to see what I could have had next week.
Well, I can say it's been cool seeing your progression here through OSCA. Definitely, you made it further in the chase-offs this year than last year. Actually, did you even make it last year? I think you did, but I can't remember.
I barely. I think it was on I don't know.
But either way, I mean, a really good run this season. You were up there pretty much every week, fighting for something. So, what do you got to take from this season going into next season?
I think I gotta keep working on tire management, even more considering we're going to a car that has more power, something that I think spins the wheels a lot more. I don't know. I haven't touched the Gen 6 Cup car in a long time. I don't even know if I was supposed to say what we're running, but yeah, just gonna have to figure out how to manage tires a bit better and, you know, put myself in better situations where I'm not getting passed around. But yeah, just man, I don't know. Not really much to say right now.
All right. Well, before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to the team. You know, they've been supporting me a long way this whole season, showing me what I could improve on, and if it wasn't for them, I don't think I'd be able to put myself in the situation I have this season. You know, thank you to all our sponsors. Man, it's disappointing we couldn't get them up there represented, but we did what we could. All of our partners are great people, and think we should go. Think y'all should go give them a look. And last but not least, you know, Genesis. She's been supporting me this whole way, and man, she's great. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you for talking to us tonight. That was Santiago Aguirre. Tough night for him, coming home in P13 and half, number 2, out of the chase-offs, but good run nonetheless. I believe we're going to go ahead and get probably into our top 3 and championship 4 here. So Ty, you are standing by with someone, whoever you decide to get.
I was actually going to get Austin Beers, and then I was going to go through our top 3 that isn't the champ 4.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
I didn't even see he was here.
Yeah, you are all good. I'm going to get Austin Beers. Beers, buddy, it's Ty up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right, buddy. Well, obviously, contact in half 1 ruined it there, and you were doing some pretty good maneuvers there. I think a couple of them were a little questionable, but I mean, you had to do what you had to do, and then a black flag there kind of ended your second half. So unfortunately, you are eliminated from the playoffs after tonight. But just run us through your night. I mean, I know it wasn't really long in the first half, but the second half at least.
Well, yeah, the first half I just got taken out by a part-timer. Someone that, he's a good buddy of mine, but I mean, it was just stupid. You know, we're on cold tires, and there was no way I could save it. So I was either spin in front of the field and get killed by 20 cars, or try as hard as I could to save it, and then it just overcorrected because you're on cold tires because it's lap 1. Then lap 2, I didn't touch a single car until I got to Santee. Every move I made was what I needed to do to break momentum. I never touched the car until I got to Santiago, and I apologize to him. I just committed to the bottom because he was running the middle, and I think that lap he just ran the bottom line, not the apron, but one above it, and I was already committed, and I was on the brakes, and it just came up right into him. So I'm sorry for him, but no, I was just frustrated, and then I was just trying to maximize my pit road and got that black flag, and that was the end. I probably wouldn't have. I was just seeing red at that point, so it was best for me just to get out of there. But yeah, just sucks. I feel like maybe if, obviously you got to play the cards you're dealt with how the playoffs work, but maybe next year, whenever we do playoffs again, if you win a half, you should be able to advance the next round, in my beliefs. Obviously you're proving that you're capable of, being one of the faster guys if you win a half in the playoffs, and I think that'd be something maybe Vic could add if he thinks about it, but no, it just sucks. I knew tonight was going to be, if I qualified up front in the first half, I would be able to run away with it, and you guys saw I drove from 24th to the lead and had 4 seconds on everybody before I pit, so just frustrating. A fun year, got some wins, but yeah, came up for it.
All right, buddy. Well, obviously, before we let you go, anybody want to shout out? I'm sure we'll see you next week, but
yeah, Team Extra Rich, thankful to be a part of it. Everybody, all my teammates, you guys for doing the broadcast, and Vic for putting up with us.
all right, buddy. Well, hopefully we can chat with you on better circumstances next week, and maybe you can play spoiler. I'm sure you can.
Yep, thanks, guys.
That was Austin Beers. I almost took you out of there. That was Austin Beers, P23 and P24 on the night. Unfortunately, nowhere near good enough to get Austin Beers into the next round of the chase-offs, but we're going to have a chat with our runner-up tonight, somebody that we chatted to previously who was in the playoffs and wasn't able to make it through, but another good run tonight for Mr. Darren Staff and the 45 machine. Cam is standing by him.
Darren Staff, Cam and Rich up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, man. Well, another good run. 2 more good runs for you, a P4 and a P2. I know you're not in the playoff picture. We're knocked out of that till a few weeks ago, but you are making you're kind of acting as a spoiler up here in these last few races, run up front, these guys. Tell us about your night.
Yeah, I mean, half one, I would say half one was worthwhile. I wish I had saved tires a little bit better. I think the shifting there, because the reason I think that I lost so much tire was because I was in 4th, and then Barney passed me for 2nd, and I realized that he was shifting. I was like, oh, so that's how you're supposed to be running this place. So I was like, and so I ran the rest. I got 4th, which I'll absolutely take. I thought I was gonna get swamped once we got once the tires started wearing. And then half 2, I don't know what magic I found on the bottom, but I could not believe how much grip there was. I saw Beers kind of doing it on the restarts, and I was like, how is he gaining so much ground? And then I pulled it off like once or twice, and I was like, huh. So there's a lot of grip down here. And I ran it all race. I somehow was gaining spots despite being on like 45 lap old tires. And then tried to make a run at Eckert at the end. Thomas was probably the hardest one to pass tonight, considering he was trying to run the same line. But we traded paint a little bit, and then I tried to hunt down Eckert, but I think I made too many mistakes there at the end that costed us, but all around a good night.
Well, I think a pretty good run going for you for the best of the rest in the points, and I think you might have kind of set yourself up pretty well for that. Taking a look at actual non-playoff points here, just total points scored across the season, you are 3rd across all drivers, so that's a pretty good run. Definitely in the running for most improved driver across the season, I think. But before we let you go, any shout-outs you have for us?
Yeah, obviously my family, my girlfriend, everybody who supports me in my racing dreams, including Carlos and the broadcast. You guys do a great job all season. Accelerated Cloud Solutions, Mountain Dew. I wish they would sponsor me, but Tom openly said for them not to on Twitter, which I was not happy about. But but other than that, just Carlos, obviously, for giving me the ride at RK every single year. And I can't wait for Nashville next week. I feel like I have a really good feel for the concrete track there.
All right, thank you. That was Darren Staff, P4 and P2 on tonight. And I think he's probably going to be pretty good for the best of the rest once we get our points all up and running here. But Ty, you are standing by with someone, whoever you decide to get with.
Johnny, it's time for the booth, buddy. You got a copy?
Yay!
Well, buddy, you're right back to regular Johnny Eckert fashion here in OSCA. You seemingly were quiet the whole entire second half, and then you suddenly emerged. And I think we noted that you pitted pretty early on in half number 2, and then we quoted that it felt like you were doing your normal Johnny Eckert thing where you save your tires and your fuel and you're quiet. And you put it in victory lane, buddy. So, number 1, good to see you. Number 2, walk us through your night, buddy.
Yeah, well, first off, good to see you. I'm very happy to be here right now. But yeah, race 1 was just chaos, so I don't even want to discuss what happened there. It was fun. The race 1 was so much. It gave me so much confidence. Just felt like old OSCA, just with the run to the finish and everything. But that gave me confidence going into race 2, where I was in the back. I was going to stay in the back. I pitted twice every caution until we went green for a while, and I just ran my race at that point. And we got a caution like lap 20 or something like that, and it became a very close stretch to the end. Or 22, I don't know, but whatever. So I went down twice, kept it up top, and topped up, and just at that point it was just kind of managed whatever happened. And then that wreck towards the end happened, and I didn't think I was in a great spot. I was like, all right, well, we'll just manage whatever is gonna happen here. But I think there was one moment at the end where Daniel Gore and Noah Brown were nose to tail on the inside, and Kynan was in the second groove in 1 and 2, and there was an opening on the outside, and I said, you know what the heck, and I just shoved it up there, and there was room for all of us. We all survived, and I got past those 3 in one moment, and I think that gave me the ultimate confidence to say, all right, I have the aggression, I have the tires, I have the pace, we can get there. So it then just kind of tried to make up as much ground as I could, got past James Miller, and really just managed what I had from there. And Darren gave it a run, Capuano gave it a run, but I was just kind of holding my tires back a little bit, trying to protect, not running, not shifting, nothing. And then, but when they got close, it was like, all right, well, now I got to do it. So yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
All right, buddy. Well, it was insane because like you were there, and then like you were quiet, and then you just came right back out of the back of the pack, exactly where you wanted to be. Anybody want to shout out for getting you up here?
Yeah, first off, thank you guys for broadcasting. Thanks to Vic and the rest of the admins for having me. Thanks to the sponsors for all they do to support the league. Congrats to the championship people and whoever's racing for that next week. I might be here next week, I'm not sure, but thanks to D West Bojo, DJ, Jake Bustos gonna owe me $20 here for another win while he's deployed, so shout out to that. But yeah, no, thank you guys. Thanks for having me, and I appreciate all the respect and the space. And we had some good hard racing in race 1 and a little bit in race 2 for a little bit that I really pushed it, but it was really clean from my perspective. I know there were a lot of wrecks and a lot of incidents, but from my perspective, it was nice to see that. I was trying not to be in anybody's way as the part-time guy. Apparently, this is the first part-time win this season. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what Vic said, but I tried to stay out of everybody's way, try not to be a problem, but at the same time, I was just trying to go for the win. So glad to be here. Appreciate you guys having me, and I might be here next week, might not. Not sure if I want to get into the championship fight, but I'll talk to Vic about that. So thank you guys. I'll catch you later.
All right, buddy. We will
wait.
next week. Oh,
one more thing. Hold on. what's his name's not here anymore in the broadcast booth, but it's coming Rome. Okay, fine.
Have a good one.
Goody's gonna be happy now.
I have no clue what that was, but I loved it. We're gonna have a chat with all of our championship for now. I believe Cam is gonna be standing by with Mr. Ray Bracing.
Yes, sir. I got him right here. Ray, you got a copy?
Howdy ho, it's me.
All right. Well,
Sorry, I almost broke my table here. Hey, how's it going?
yeah. Let's keep the table in one piece. Your race was pretty good.
Thank you. It was okay.
You had a P7 and a P11 tonight. I would say maybe a bit of a quieter night than some of your championship contenders. It seemed like a lot of them just wanted to knock themselves out of the race or run into other drivers. Well, you chose the whole not do that route. Tell us about your night.
Yeah, it was pretty simple. I was kind of struggling on this track. I didn't get a lot of practice, and I've always been terrible at New Hampshire, so I was just hoping to just kind of hit at least par for the course, and then hopefully I can make my way in, because I knew I was like in the middle of everybody, so I had my people marked off. It's like, all right, as long as I'm X amount of points from these people, just keep it steady. So like in the feature there at the end, I was thinking about just like dive bombing high heat, but I was like, I'm pretty sure I had enough points. I didn't know the full map in my head, but I was like, all right, just keep it simple. It's just, there's no pressure from behind. Zach was kind of falling off at that point, so it's just like, all right, I think I'm good. Let's just, everybody seemed to be wrecking themselves. I don't know how Tom got back in third place. I was worried about that a little bit, but yeah, when Gore and Beers fell off in the first half, I was like, ooh, this is very interesting. So, and I knew Miller would just be perfect as always, so there it is. But yeah, just pretty mediocre race. One of my normal list races of all time tonight. So, but there you go.
I think with the chaos we saw, it was probably exactly what you needed to get right up there into the top 4. So, how are you feeling going into Nashville? How's that for you?
I think I'll fare a little better at Nashville. I did that track recently, and I felt pretty good at it with another car. So I'm hoping this can translate well here. I think I'll pretty much practice every day for it, to be honest. And then I'll, if I get disappointed, it's like whatever. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm really happy that I'm in this spot. I don't know how many times I'll be able to be in this position, so I want to make it count as much as I can. I love my virtual race cars, and I want to do the best I can. So I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna give you guys a good show. I'm gonna do my best.
No doubt about that. I think next week's race is gonna be a banger. But before we let you go, you have any shout outs?
Yeah. First shout out to my wife who tolerates this, and I love her so much. Shout out to my cats. I got both of them on the car. It was kind of a last minute because I almost forgot to put the right banner on the car. So I went back to the paint I had last week. Shout out South Shore guys. They're always cool. Shout out to the Binx dudes. They're cool dudes. They're kind of more assholes, but they're all right. And I'm sorry. Look, I know y'all saw it. I didn't mean to hit him. I'm sorry, Dallas. I didn't mean to do that. I got a little caught off guard. I know he probably thought it was on purpose. It was not on purpose. So,
We actually didn't see that.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
You just incriminated yourself, buddy.
Well, Vic saw it. I mean,
there was plenty of other people hitting each other that I think that kind of got lost in the mix a little bit, if I'm going to be honest.
I know it. Yeah, I know it looks bad, but I was generally like, shit. Or sorry. Oh crap! I didn't know what. God, sorry. I know y'all do it. I know. It's like the second time I've done it already. Oh, sorry.
Keep up my streak. I didn't do it.
I need to bleep the bleeper. But yeah. Yeah. Long story short, it wasn't on purpose. It was just mental lapse on my end. So. But yeah, other than that little incident, I pretty much avoided other carnage. It was all around me. There's one where I had to felt like a road course dodging everything. So, but yeah, it was. But once the tires got worn out, everybody just kind of mostly went line to line, back to back. I couldn't do that magic Austin Beers. I'm just going to ride the apron. I wasn't confident enough to do that. So I was like, I'm sure stuff will fall back, and it did. So, yeah. Yeah. And then did any other thanks to this Dr. Pepper's Zero Sugar, because I am super tired, and this is the only thing keeping me energy right now. So there you go. Mountain Dew sponsor me, not Darren. All right.
Oh, you just did Tom worse. You did worse than Tom with that.
Wait, why did you just ask for a Mountain Dew sponsorship after you just glazed about Dr. Pepper?
Because if anybody's gonna drink sponsorship, it's me. I'm taking it from Darren. Mountain don't give it to Darren. Mountain Dew give it to me. There you go. That's my pitch.
Both vile drinks.
They are pretty vile. Never mind. Don't sponsor me, please. All right. No.
Cam.
Dang, did I? Man,
well,
hold on.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, that was Ray Bracey. He's gonna be your number 4 seed going into next week's race at.
No, he's the number 3 seed.
Oh, he moved himself. He moved himself.
I didn't touch
he
anything.
moved himself, man. He's
Okay,
losing. Sorry, Bojo.
You goofed.
Bojo is not the number 4 seed. He's the number 3 seed.
Yeah.
Number 3 seed. It's Thomas number 4, isn't he?
All right. Well, I'm gonna bring up Mr. Number 4 seed, Thomas Capuano, buddy. It's Ty up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do.
All right, buddy. Well, you're my hero. I picked you in half number 1, and you did really good. Wish I picked you in half number 2. You would have did a little better, but that's besides the point. You, sir, are seed number 4 in the Champ 4. You have a little bit of work to do, but I think if anybody's going to be able to do it, you proved that you could find a way to do it tonight with a P6 and a P3. So walk us through your day. I know it was crazy. I know it probably looked a little bleak, and then beers happened and Jake happened. So
I'm going to just, first things first, I want to apologize to Jake Scarborough. I pled my case with him, and I said, I just got in the wall trying to stay off the 65. And when we went into turn 3, I didn't even know he was there until he was heading into my left front. So I hate to have that happen. Jake is a great competitor. I love racing with Jake. But it happened, and there's no other way to put it. It is what it is. Apologize first and foremost to him. He wrote me a little message, told me he was a little bit displeased with me, and rightfully so. I don't know. I don't know what else I could have done different in that moment, but I wasn't on the gas, and the call went the way that it did. But like you said, a P6 and a P3 is pretty good. Cam came into our team chat before the race and was like, Tom, what's your plan today? And I'm like, plan is to maximize TMR points. That's the plan, maximize our team points, because that's where I know that we're easy. If I went into the final 4 races, the complete total underdog and got it done, it would be pretty cool. But it would definitely be a lot easier if we were racing at Eldora, but we're racing at National Super Speedway. So yeah, and it also means a lot to hear from you that I'm your hero, because T-Mac, you're my hero. Absolutely, positively my hero.
I appreciate it, buddy. Anybody want to shout out?
Cam, first and foremost, putting together this team. With Matt and James and Austin is extremely good and offer an extreme amount of advice. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I think I've really come around a lot this season. Had a lot of good runs. And I'm really proud to be part of this team. We're going in looking like we got team points locked up. So it shows just how good we work with each other and how helpful everybody is with all the other team. And I hate it for Austin. Really hate it to see the 19 truck not make it to the final 4. But sometimes iRacing giveth, sometimes iRacing taketh, and tonight it taketh. You know, he's a good buddy of mine. And you know, we're going to race at Thunder Road this weekend. I'm really excited about that. You know, Austin's chasing the Monaco tri-trick points. We'll see, you know, where he ends up in that. But you know, like I said, TMR, SKM, the memory of Scott Bloomquist, the memory of Ken Block, Fenceline Films. You guys for putting the broadcast on. I know I poked a little bit of fun at you guys at Watkins Glen, but you know, I love to go back and watch the D West cam from time to time. But you know, that'll be the first thing I do again tonight. Heading off the sim here and load up through ITV replay and watch the races back. This race was awesome. Vic give us the great setup. This is a really fun track. You know, still a little bit hard to believe, especially that in half two. I know I'm rambling on, but Ray Bracey did too, so I'm gonna ramble on. In half two there, you know, coming through the field at the end on 4 freshies when everybody else was on about 10 laps lesser tires, and working the bottom. You know, I seen Austin doing it, and I tried it and figured it out and really made it work. Passed about 10 cars that last green flag run, and oh man, it felt awesome to chase down Johnny Eckert. But when the 45 entered my mirror, I totally lost all composure. You know, I got all nervous, made a couple mistakes, missed the downshift, didn't get on the brakes where I needed to, and the 45 was able to get behind me. But we put on a hell of a show. I hope that Carlos was putting on a show for us too with the broadcast, because you know that's what we do this race for, us to put a good show on for the fans. Yeah, really happy. Thank you everybody. Thank you T-Mac for channeling your inner faith in Town the Modified guys. Thank you Cam for putting these TMR cars in the field, and thank you Carlos for putting the broadcast on.
All right, buddy. Well, we appreciate it. Good luck next week. I know you're going to put on a show, because if anybody's going to give it everything they got, it's going to be you.
Hey,
so.
I got a question, T-Mac.
Yes, sir.
Final four. Do I keep this scheme, or do I go back to the tried and true?
I mean, I think you take what works for you, right? If it's been working for you,
I think I keep the scheme, right?
I think you roll with it.
All right.
All right, buddy. Well, go celebrate, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, T-Mac. Appreciate you.
That was Tom Capuano, your P6 and P3 finisher on the night, and 4th seed heading into next week at Nashville fighting for the championship. And seeded number 2 is going to be Mr. Danny G. I believe Cam is going to be standing by with him.
Yep, I got him right here. Daniel, go, or you got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
All right, well, maybe I'd say a bit of a lower key night than we usually see from you, a P9 and a P5, but just what you needed to get into the playoffs. Half one, particularly rough. You got involved in a wreck, I think, on lap 1. I think the wreck with Beers and Barney, and damaged you up a little bit, but take us through your night.
Oh, I didn't think I was going to make it here, to be honest. Based out of the first, I got involved in both of those starting wrecks, the first caution and the second caution in half one. Got damage from both, fixed it up, just ran what I could. Should have taken tires. That's probably the only thing I could have done differently, really, other than not be an idiot and get caught up in the wreck that I could have completely missed. I just got spooked by Jake and whoever it was below him making contact. I thought he was going to get right hooked up into me, so I moved high to avoid it. It didn't happen. And at the exact same time, that's when Beers hit the wall and scuffed up my truck. But that was over with. Half two, I really thought it was going to be between me and James after Beers. I think sped on pit lane. Then the caution came out. Unfortunately, it was my teammate, and it knocked him out with the championship. I took 2. If I was to take 4, it would have put me a lap down, so that wasn't an option, sadly. Had it stayed green, no, it probably would have been between me and him, but just to get here is nice, considering how bad we've had it the last few races, bar maybe Montreal.
Yeah, it seemed like a little bit of a struggle bus, but you are there. And unfortunately, only one Redux representative in the top 4, which is you. But I think the team points are all but set. For like the top 3 are pretty much going to finish where they are, if I looked at that correctly. But how are you feeling going into Nashville?
It's going to be another new combination for me. 3 times, or 3 races in a row now with a new combination, so gonna have to dig in, get some good practice. I'm feeling alright. I said it was between me and Miller last season. Obviously, with the format, had a bit of a bigger points lead. But that race didn't exactly go to plan either last championship, so let's see if we can actually pull a clean one together and maybe get a second one.
Well, that sounds good. Before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs?
I just want to thank my team, especially Noah. He was being really helpful and staying out of my way and giving me some outsider info on other trucks that I couldn't see tonight. Santi and Jake for showing up every week. I think Santi is the only one on the team that's actually raced every single race this season. So I appreciate all of them. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, that was Daniel Gore, your 2nd seed going into the championship race at Nashville. Finished 9th and 5th tonight. And I believe, yep, there he is. James Miller, we're going to bring him up. And Ty, you have him.
James, buddy, it's Ty at the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Ty.
All right, buddy. Well, a win in half number 1 pretty much secured it for you. And then you rally back with a 4th, given all the chaos that your other championship fight guys saw there. Obviously, Jake with problems, Veers with problems. That probably gave you a little bit of breathing room. And you are the number 1 seed and the points leader as we head into Nashville next week. So while you still have pressure, maybe a little less, knowing that you're the number 1 guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a 4-point gap to Gore, so it's a nice little cushion. Would have loved to have a bigger cushion, but honestly, each round I was just scared of if we were going to wreck out or not. So glad to be in the final 4. Glad to make it this far because we feel really good now. A lot of great momentum behind us. Yeah, I knew this race was going to be wild, and it was wild for everyone else. It was pretty chill for me, and I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, half 1, obviously, Blake and Beers get into it, and then you kind of just slide through. And then half number 2, I think you made your way through pretty nicely and got a top 5 out of that. But other than I know you said the race was pretty calm for you tonight. Were you was there anybody that you were maybe not as worried about as far as the championship headed forward that you now have to look at as a threat? Like, was Tom surprising you tonight? I know he's your teammate, but at the end of the day, I know you guys are pretty competitive with each other.
Yeah, I mean, for the 3 other guys that made it in, was pretty much how I imagined it, other than Beers and Tom switching, because I mean, I don't think anybody saw Beers getting wrecked like that out of pretty much contention. So yeah, like in my head, that was going to be either Beers and I, Gore, and Bracy was kind of how I saw the final 4 going, if everything worked out right. And obviously, unfortunately for Beers, it did not go right. So that sucks, but at least it's another TMR driver, not somebody else. So not that we're gonna play. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It'd be nice to race Tom for the championship instead of somebody else who won't be my teammate and not have comms with. So not that we're gonna race each other, but not going for the win, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But
it's a little easier when it's somebody that you can communicate with and
yeah,
maybe understand that you're gonna give each other a little bit more room than you might say if it's you and Danny fighting each other.
For sure.
All right, buddy. Well, anybody you want to shout out before we let you head back down and celebrate and get ready for next week?
Yeah, just again, huge shout out to Cam for the opportunity to drive for the team. Big shout out to the team, all of TMR drivers, Pack, Beers, and Tom. It's been a fun season, sorta. I'll be honest. I think halfway through the season, after I kept wrecking out, I was ready to hang it all up. And the last couple races have just been going perfectly. So I'm back. You know, you do good, you want to keep going. You don't do good, you want to leave. That's how it goes. But yeah, I don't know. Look forward to Nashville. Pretty much I'd consider it a second home track in a way. I've visited many times. All my friends are there, so really looking forward to that. And yeah, just shout out to the Christian Discord for watching, especially Adam and Jordan. Look forward to it next week.
All right, buddy. Well, we know you guys are going to put on a show, and I personally can't wait. I know it's going to be crazy, especially with you guys having 2 races to finish it all, and there's no risk of getting eliminated. It's just for the championship. So, good luck, and put on a show for us.
Will do. Thank you.
That was James Miller, your first seed heading into Nashville next week. And Cam, I know we had some shocks and some pretty crazy things happen tonight that maybe we weren't expecting, but our championship 4 is set. And I think we're going to have a dogfight next week.
Yep, they call New Hampshire the Magic Mile, and we saw it be magical for a few tonight, and we saw it be not so magical for others. But I think next week is going to be a great race. We have 150 laps at Nashville to battle it out and see who is going to become the 2025 OSCA Weekend Woodsman Series champion. So it's really awesome. The stories that we've seen this year. We have 2 drivers that were in the hunt last year. We have 2 drivers first time in the Final 4. So just a lot of stories going to be written next week. So I'm Cameron Rich, Ty McIntosh, Carlos Acosta. This is 3Ride TV. We hope you all have a great night. Join us next week for the finale to this great season.